Ryan Matthews had always been terrible with languages. Even Earth languages gave him trouble. He'd failed Spanish twice in high school and could barely order coffee in French. So when the diplomatic corps assigned him as a translator for first contact with the Zephyrian Empire, he suspected someone had made a catastrophic clerical error. "You'll be fine," Emma Chen, the mission's xenobiologist, had assured him during their 6-month journey to the neutral station. The translation matrix handles most of the heavy lifting. You just need to catch the nuances. Nuances. Ryan had laughed bitterly. He couldn't catch nuances in English, let alone an alien language that sounded like wind chimes having an argument with a symphony orchestra. Now standing in the crystalline chamber aboard Station Unity, Ryan watched Princess Lyrelei of the Zephyrian Third House glide toward their delegation. She was breathtaking in an utterly alien way, 7 feet tall with translucent skin that shifted colors like oil on water, 4 graceful arms, and eyes that held the depth of nebulae. Her voice when she spoke was like music made tangible. "Welcome, representatives of humanity," she said, her words flowing through the translation matrix with perfect clarity. "We are honored by your presence." Ambassador Harrison stepped forward with practiced diplomacy. "The honor is ours, Your Highness. We come seeking mutual understanding between our peoples." Ryan stood slightly behind the main delegation. His job simple in theory: monitor the translation matrix for errors and catch any cultural misunderstandings before they became incidents. Emma stood beside him, her scientific scanner discreetly recording everything. The negotiations began smoothly. Trade routes, territorial boundaries, shared scientific endeavors, all the standard first contact protocols. Princess Lyrelei demonstrated remarkable intelligence, countering every human proposal with elegant alternatives that somehow benefited both species more than the originals. "She's incredible," Emma whispered to Ryan. "Look at how she restructures each agreement. She's not just smart, she's thinking 3 moves ahead of everyone." Ryan nodded, watching the princess's luminescent skin shift to gentle gold tones as she considered a mining rights proposal. In Zephyrian culture, he'd learned, colors indicated emotional states. Gold meant deep contemplation. That's when the translation matrix began glitching. It started small, a few words arriving seconds late, some grammatical structures that didn't quite parse. Ryan frowned at his interface, running diagnostics. A solar flare had struck the station's communication array an hour ago. The matrix was struggling with signal degradation. "Ambassador," Ryan murmured, stepping forward. "We're experiencing translation delays. Maybe we should—" The matrix crashed. Suddenly, the flowing Zephyrian language filled the air without interpretation, musical and incomprehensible. Princess Lyrelei's skin flashed confused silver as the human delegation exchanged panicked glances. "Ryan," Ambassador Harrison hissed. "Do something." Ryan's mind raced. He'd studied basic Zephyrian phonemes during the journey, memorizing key phrases for emergencies. His pronunciation was terrible, but maybe— "Gental Morvisani," he said carefully, hoping he was asking for patience. Instead, judging by the princess's suddenly violet skin, indicating shock, he'd probably just announced his intention to eat her shoes. "I mean—" Ryan stumbled through another phrase, then another. Each attempt seemed to make things worse. The princess's colors shifted rapidly, violet to silver to deep red. The rest of the Zephyrian delegation stepped backward. In desperation, Ryan grabbed for the one phrase he was absolutely certain of, the one Emma had made him practice until he could say it in his sleep, because she thought it was the most important concept in any language. "Ketharanos ventai." The chamber fell silent. Princess Lyrelei's skin went pure white, an emotional state Ryan had never seen referenced in the cultural briefings. Her 4 hands trembled. The other Zephyrians stared in what could only be described as shock. "What did you say?" Emma whispered urgently. Ryan's face burned. He had a horrible suspicion he'd just made the worst mistake in human diplomatic history. I was trying to say I respect your wisdom, but I think I mixed up the verb conjugations and—" The translation matrix suddenly flickered back to life, just in time to translate Princess Lyrelei's response. "At last," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "At last someone has said it." "Said what?" Ambassador Harrison demanded. The princess approached Ryan directly, her skin now shifting through colors he'd never seen before. Deep purples and gold swirled with silver like a living aurora. In Zephyrian, what you said was Ketharanos ventai, she explained, her translated voice trembling with emotion. It means I adore you beyond the stars. Ryan's stomach dropped. Your Highness, I'm so sorry, I was trying to— No, she interrupted, holding up one graceful hand. You don't understand. In Zephyrian culture, those words, they can only be spoken by someone who means them completely. Our language won't allow the sounds to form if the speaker doesn't feel the truth of them in their core. Emma's scanner beeped frantically as she recorded everything. That's impossible, she muttered. Languages don't work that way. Princess Lyralee smiled, an expression that somehow transcended species. Ours does. It evolved from empathic ancestors. The deeper emotions can only be expressed with complete sincerity. She turned back to Ryan, her colors now a warm, steady gold touched with rose. I have waited 73 years for someone to say those words to me and mean them. My people believed it would never happen, that no being in the universe could truly adore a Zephyrian princess, with all our duties and isolations and complications. But I barely know you, Ryan protested, even as something in his chest fluttered strangely. Your heart knew before your mind did, the princess said softly. Otherwise the words would have been impossible to speak. Ryan looked at her, really looked, and realized she was right. Despite the alien features, despite the impossibility of the situation, despite having known her for mere hours, something in him had recognized something in her. Her intelligence, her grace, the way she'd restructured every negotiation to benefit both species rather than just her own. Well, Ambassador Harrison said after a long pause, this is either the best diplomatic breakthrough in human history or the worst cultural incident ever recorded. Princess Lyralee laughed, a sound like crystal bells in a gentle breeze. Perhaps both, she said, though I believe your people have a saying about love finding a way. Emma looked up from her scanner, grinning. Actually, the readings are fascinating. When Ryan spoke those words, both your biometric signatures showed identical resonance patterns. It's like you were synchronized. The universe, Princess Lyralee said, extending one of her 4 hands toward Ryan, has a sense of humor. Ryan took her hand, surprised by its warmth. So what happens now? Now, she said, her skin glowing with happy gold, we negotiate the most important treaty of all. As the implications sank in, an accidental declaration of love that might just unite 2 species, Ryan realized Emma had been right about one thing. He was fine with languages after all. He just needed to find the right words to say to the right person, even if he didn't know what he was saying at the time.